Now, finally, the unemployment rate in the last week, the numbers out showed it down to 3.5%. It's lowest in nearly 50 years. You've got the inflation rate looming again later this month. Cost of living pressures remain. It's a tight economy. What can you do, if anything, in terms of easing cost of living pressures, with speculation now that the RBA is going to potentially lift rates by 75 basis points next month?
Well, there are a few parts to that, Kieran. First of all, that unemployment rate was an incredibly strong and very welcome outcome, but it reinforces the need at our Jobs Summit to bring people together around some of the associated challenges with labour shortages and skills shortages, but also making sure that more people can access the opportunities in a relatively tight or historically tight labour market. That's the first thing. On inflation, unfortunately, we expect this inflation challenge to get worse before it gets better, but it will get better. We expect inflation to moderate next year, but we're in for a tough time for a lot of families. And what I'd like to do is to update the Parliament in a substantial way, update the government's forecasts and expectation for inflation when the Parliament returns later this month as part of a detailed ministerial statement that I will provide. Now, it's self-evident that inflation of the kind that we're seeing now will bring interest rate rises from our independent Reserve Bank, and clearly that will slow the economy, it will slow our expectations for economic growth in the near term as interest rates rise in the manner that the Governor of the Reserve Bank has indicated that they will. Now, this will make life even tougher for a lot of Australians who are already dealing with the skyrocketing costs of living. I think a lot of people are expecting these rate rises, but it won't make it any easier for them to accommodate them in their family budgets, and it will have consequences for the economy more broadly. And once again, I expect to be able to detail our expectations for our economy and for our budget, which flow from these circumstances that we have right now: high and rising inflation, rising interest rates, falling real wages, in the context of a budget which is constrained by that $1 trillion in debt that we've inherited from our predecessors.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Kieran.